It's Metal Mondays. Check 1, 2. 1, 2.
Check.
Hold on, hold on.
I can hear you. I can hear you. So it's not me, but I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Check 1, 2. I can hear you. Check 1, 2. I can hear you. Check 1, 2. I can hear you.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I had my sound turned way down because I was getting notifications from the human design stuff, and then
Oh, yeah.
having the headphones on, it was defaulting to the headphones.
Oh, yeah.
They are active next door today.
Yes, they are.
I can't remember with the headphones. Do the indicator light, does that turn green when it's all charged, or does it just stay yellow?
I think it just stays. I've never seen it change color.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let me fix it. Okay, here we go. Look at what happened to gold the last 24 hours. We were buttoned up against that resistance, weren't we? It was 5,100. That was a big level. And then finally, Friday in the afternoon, it went above and closed back at 5,175. Little bit of a retracement first thing in the morning yesterday. Well, first thing is the markets opened in London. And we are not stopping. Just a quick retracement after the close on Friday, coming down to hit the, look at that. It came back right straight back to that old high from February 11th. And I said too, I was like, we eked above it and we created higher lows. It makes sense that we're going to build up that energy and blast out here soon. We didn't even wait. Didn't even wait. Things are going to unravel here. We're on the brink of war, and the war is not to be taken lightly. It would even seem that Trump is deliberately trying to destroy Israel right now, because you see they can't take on Iran. There's no way. Sure,
but
if it was just Iran, maybe they could do that. But by inflicting harm against Iran, that automatically involves Russia and China, because they cannot afford to lose Iran as an ally.
But we saw last night that Trump gave the keys to the country to Netanyahu.
Yep.
That goes would appear the exact opposite of what you just said.
Deception can work both ways.
I guess so.
I
Yeah.
cannot imagine a sane man wanting to take that type of risk without an extremely positive payoff. And the only good thing that can come out of this is that Israel is destroyed.
Well, the
That's the
saying
sad
of
part.
the saying that comes to my mind is keep your enemies, your friends close and your enemies closer.
It's unbelievable. So if in fact war strikes, Iran has said that they keep the military Iranian army on X tweeted yesterday, if America strikes against Iran, Iran will destroy Israel, and there will be nothing to stop them, because you can bet your boots Russia's not going to stop them. China's not going to stop them. China and Russia have invested over, remember, 2014 was when that deal got started with Iran. You help us build the Silk Road, that corridor of trade between China and the Middle East. You help us build that, we'll give you $600 billion worth of contracts not paid in US dollars, energy contracts not paid in US dollars, paid in gold. Iran was like, yep, I'm all on board. That is what has completely pissed off Israel, because they want the control of that region. They need control of that region. Their military badges on their arms literally have a much larger territory depicted on their shoulders, what the little sliver Israel is. So they are definitely the threat that is occurring right now in the Middle East, and the whole world knows it. And I can tell you right now that there is no way I mean, unless you think about it, he's the president of the United States of America. He has disclosure on things that I will probably never have knowledge of. We will probably never have knowledge of. That's fine. You can't tell me he doesn't know what I know about Iran, Russia, and China. And that he is going there to start a war with a country who's just one of that country's allies would wipe the American army off the face of the planet if they went head to head. There's no question about it. We know that because it was in 2001 that as an act of good faith, Russia gave the technology to Iran to intercept Tomahawk missiles from the States. So I can't imagine what is going on inside Trump's head right now, but it can't be I'm coming out on top.
Well, I think he's all business. He's a negotiator. That's all he's doing.
And negotiate the people into buying another war.
No, I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to get his way without going to war, but he's using the military to do that.
Oh, okay. Maybe go on. Are you, because I'm curious about this perspective. You're saying that Trump is doing this because, no, you know what? You explain your position. I'm not following.
Well, I think he's deployed the military. Like in everything Trump has ever done, he's shot for the stars and was happy to arrive at the moon,
Right.
And I think it's the same thing here. He's deployed the military, all the ships and everything to the area in which Iran is, and his whole purpose is to make them rethink their position and to provide some what's the word you look for?
Just like the brandishing of the stick, so to speak.
Yeah, he's just simply trying to get some leverage over the situation. Now what he's looking for in particular, I don't know, but I suspect it has a lot to do with Israel as well, since everything in Iran is Israel oriented.
Mhm.
But that's what I think, is that he's just simply deploying something. He hasn't declared anything, but there could come a point if Iran says we're not negotiating nothing with concerning Israel. If Iran gets to that point, then Trump will be forced to call his own bluff.
Mm. And out of curiosity, what is it that Iran poses? Like, how is it that Iran poses such a threat to the states,
It's not
or
the
poses
states.
a threat to anybody?
It's
Who
not
are
the
they?
states.
Who have they threatened?
Saudi Arabia, um, yeah, all of the U.S.'s allies in the region.
Right. Yeah.
So
But
they're
how is that? But how is that bad? Like, how is that something? I get that it's a threat to the states, but I mean, I feel like, and maybe I'm
it's not so much a threat to the
misinterpreting.
states as much it's a threat to their allies. And of course, it's a threat to the states in the sense that oil. If Iran does anything that affects the flow of oil, that obviously is going to affect the world. But um, and then because some of the oil stuff is still valued in U.S. dollars, it's. But Iran's goal is number one to get Israel off the map. That's their number one goal. If they could do that, wonderful. What's so odd is that there is such a spiritual movement in Iran. It's
Hmm,
amazing. Just
really? Eh?
oh, it's crazy.
What's
In
happening? Oh.
a lot of a lot of a lot of Muslim people are coming to faith in Christ in
Hmm.
Iran.
Yeah.
That's happened big time in Jordan. Tens of thousands in a Muslim country. But it's just crazy what's happening there. Throughout the entire region.
Hmm.
We don't know about it because it's happening in a Muslim way. It's
Right.
happening. It's not American. It's not Canadian. It's not European. This is specific to the Muslim people. So
Hmm.
there is a lot of stress and pressure inside Iran against the regime,
Oh
but
yes.
that's where their armed forces is becoming quite rabid in their way of looking at things. They have the extreme of the extremists in their
Yeah.
armed forces,
Yeah.
and so you have, I don't know how many thousands of people have been killed in their protests in the streets.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands, from what I understand.
Yes. Yeah. There's a significant amount of oppression of the government upon the people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So even like in the United States, you could have people stand up and say, "We don't want war," and you'd still have a president who declares war, and
Right.
Congress along with him.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's sad.
just like Canada, we have a government that's doing what.
Whatever they want.
Well, yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's generally my view of what Trump is doing, because he is first and foremost a negotiator, businessman. And
Right.
he's his whole presidency. In his first presidency, he misunderstood the culture in which he was in, which means that he didn't get a lot done, as much done as he could have got done. Now he's pulling out all the stops, and every time he turns around, he's going for the extreme position in order to get, you know, a certain amount.
Hmm.
Like what he's done with Greenland. Everybody thinks, oh, he's going to take over Greenland. No, he's not going to take over Greenland. He's just trying to get something. So he's
Right.
just making it a very
Yeah, yeah,
extreme position, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But that's because he saw that the failure of his, I think, of his first presidency. That should be so abundantly clear to him that it's, if it's not clear to him, then he's dumb as a sack of hammers, and his advisors are dumber.
Wow.
I think that Trump is like the epitome of the showman, like the Barnum and Bailey. Yes, absolutely. He's a businessman, and he's very good at look over here, look over here, look over here. I'm going to do this stuff on the side here, but look over here.
Yeah.
That's how I see him.
Yeah, I don't know any government in the Western world or any government in the world that doesn't do that as well.
Yeah, that's their job. They have to maintain the charade.
Yep.
Yes, and he does it with such pizzazz and flair, and he's okay with looking the fool and the clown,
Yeah.
where the rest of the political establishment works so hard at looking so good and being so virtuous. Trump doesn't seem to care about looking virtuous. He's trying to get a message across.
Yep. Anyhow, those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I need to open my mind a little bit more to other perspectives. I've been entrenched in one for quite some time, and admittedly for the last 2 years not following the news nearly as much as I used to. So my opinion is outdated. I'll say that.
Well, I don't follow the news so much either myself. I've just come to, I think, just a general foundational attitude that he approaches everything from a business perspective.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. That would be in line with he is communicating business. It's no question. I think for me, it's like I still struggle with like, why bother, guys? Like the contract was up. You guys had that wonderful contract with the US dollar. Saudi Arabia could use your military at their disposal whenever they wanted to secure the region. You had oil for $4 a barrel for 50 years, but the contract's over. What are you still doing there? That's my question. Because the American people, if they knew what this was about, well, I think that if the American people knew what Congress has done, that they would hang them all.
Well, I think ever since the Creature from Jekyll Island,
Yeah,
1910, ever since then. In
yeah,
fact, one president said that, I think it was president, that if the people realized what we'd done, they'd be hanging in the street.
yep. I think that was Bush Senior, if I remember correctly.
I think that was, yeah. I'm thinking of someone long before that, but it could have
Okay,
been.
it,
Yeah,
it could have
think
been
of,
all of them because
yeah,
it's all.
they probably all know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Metal Mondays onwards, gold, of course, hitting up above. We chatted about this just briefly before you showed up. The gold on Friday bumped up against went over and challenged that resistance at 5100. This morning, first thing came back, retested it almost exactly. Is it? This was the high 5119, the low being 5121. So $2 difference between the previous high and now what we have as support. Yeah, we might test it back again. Who knows? But this is indicative. Look at how this did not bother finding more consolidation. Typically speaking, when we see these wedges, it gets down to a wire. But this is a sign that we're headed up. We're going to go higher. Keep her going. Gold silver ratio creating a new low at the same time. Sunday morning, or well, Sunday afternoon rather, when the markets open in London in the morning. As such, it's time to make some adjustments to our chart here. Take the price of the Dow Jones, 48,947. Oh, 48,947. And divide that by the price of gold, 52.08 right now. We are down to 9.3. Oh, look at that, 9.4. 9.398. So I'm just going to round it to 4. On the silver side of things, whoops. Go to the 48. What did I say? 48,943 now. Divided by silver, 86.75. Silver didn't create a new high yet, though. So we might be seeing a delay on that. There are the lowest amount of longs at the COMEX right now since 2008. So 564. So it did go down 564.18. Just go to 564. So the markets are just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper all the time. Japanese markets also created an all-time high there last week. I don't know if that was February 8th already. Consolidating ever since. Descending wedge. That consolidation is getting down to the wire. We'll see what happens here in the this week especially. Into the crypto markets, we've got Bitcoin losing dominance again so far this week. Starting out right away last night, right after the markets opened up, actually, 2 hours after the markets opened. Big drop in dominance, continued momentum. If we don't stay above this line here with 58% or so, that'll be an indication of continued dominance, a loss of dominance for Bitcoin. The structure on this is pretty loose, just because it's not a price action chart. This is a dominance chart, but we can see that there is significant support at that 58% level. A lot of resistance at this 60% level. We'll see what happens next. Bitcoin prices consolidating after that D extension on the daily chart. See what happens. This could just simply be a deepened C on the weekly chart. Because structure still is at 50,000. 52,700. Boy, I was wrong on that one. I did not expect the price to come back to prices pre-election. Here we are, underneath the prices at pre-election. Bitcoin against gold dropping as gold prices get that jump. It's interesting. It'd be interesting to see what this price here, this was December 2022. Gold in December of 2022 was December 2022. Here we go. It's around 1800. Oh my gosh, 1800 December 2022. So 1800 divided by, oh no wait, Bitcoin at the time. Gotta get that. Bitcoin at the time, December 2022, 16,493. Let's go 16,500 just for good measure. 16,500 divided by 1,800 for the price of gold. That was only 9 ounces. Oh, yeah, no, we already have that data, don't we? Yeah, right here. March of 2020 was the low where it was 2.6, 2.7 ounces of gold. Now sitting at 12.43, 0.47. Into other markets, got Ethereum, the digital silver, currently experiencing some consolidation. We are below this here, so this is not really a descending wedge anymore. It's still descending, but now it's we call this a channel. See where it goes. Market structure right now is looking at 1750 or so. But we also have on the daily chart, we have this long-term trend line all the way from June of 2022. So we might come and test this out before taking off. Midnight, going into the 4-hour chart, we actually got up above that major resistance line, looking at using it for support from here on out. But we are also below this short-term trend line. So we get confirmation on whether or not we go back below the previous low right there. Dollar cost average.
Where's the previous low?
Previous low is just at 5.5 cents.
What's the date on that?
That was February 15th. This trend line, though, that one was, pretty short-lived. It only lasted 2 weeks. So that is a short-lived trend line. This pivot point here, I would give it more substance. We could come back and test. This would be another test here at 5 cents, 5.2.
Yeah.
It's another area. On ADA side of things here, we've been consolidating since that last dip. And that is a D down here. We do have the D extension on the daily chart right now. Yep. So we'll see where this goes. Right now, it's consolidating. So I don't make choices in consolidations. I make pending orders. Right now, this high not having beat out the previous high is not a good indication. We've got a second high that's lower than the previous high. That's a trend. We're already starting to create that downward momentum. After this drop here, we would need to see a high get up above what we call the shoulder. As that plays out, I would say if we go below this, the 25-cent level, and we go below that, and we don't see an immediate coming back, I would start placing pending orders to sell. Yeah, probably at this pivot point here.
Could you enlarge the screen, please?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
So I would be placing orders if we come down and go lower than the previous low here at 25 cents. That's when I would start placing limit sells at 26 cents and then again at 28, 29 cents. Just so that you can catch that next movement down as it it'll retrace and probably test this again before heading down. That's the likelihood. But we won't really know to make that kind of a choice until we get to here, 25 cents. XRP, look at that, almost the same shape same shape as ADA. Can you tell a difference? Not much. Highs and lows are all patterned the same. So XRP showing some support here at the $1.30 mark. That makes sense. It's been support in the past and resistance. We will see where things play out this week. If it continues downwards, then we'll probably see. We'll see that indicator on the Bitcoin dominance. We could be, we're down, but I mean, market structure is still at 60%. So we may see another little push from Bitcoin to come and retest maybe this long-term trend line from the underside. And we'll see how that occurs. If, and here's how we do this. I'm going to use ADA and XRP as the examples, simply because they're so similar in price or price action. So if the price comes down and we see that the ADA loses that 25% mark, we probably will come and test 24 cents. When that occurs, we'll be checking Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, if we see it going up higher and higher, then it will be advantageous. If the price goes below 25 cents, it will be advantageous to start placing those sell orders. So you may consider selling off some ADA for those that have it. You may consider selling off some ADA, but you won't need to decide before the 25 cents. So this week will be telling. Okay, we haven't seen a whole lot of volatility. In fact, we can see even from the ATR that we are at lows here from the beginning of the year. Super low. Doge, similar. However, that previous high did beat out that shoulder. Not that means anything, but that there's some drive there from the bulls. Injective token also creating a high higher than this shoulder. Again, encouraging for the asset. Doesn't really mean anything as far as markets go. BitTensor bouncing off of some all-time lows, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Sitting at $167 right now. Estimated value based off of volume of data centers and how much compute they are processing. Recovery takes it back up to the $750 range. That's a 333% increase.
What I like about that coin is that it shows a lot of movement.
Yes.
It's different than other coins where they had their initial high and then they drop down and nothing but steady down.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, there's up and down all over the map.
Yeah.
Which means that
entirely.
it'll continue to do that.
And volatility is our friend.
Yep.
Just have an exit strategy.
So what is it about Tau that makes it do that? Or puts it in that category, that position?
Yeah, good question. I'm going to attribute it to, let's go to this is the daily chart. I'm going to attribute it to being very new. That chart doesn't even go back to the last alt season.
Okay.
So it's going to have a lot more stability simply because it hasn't experienced an alt season yet.
But the one thing this one doesn't do that others have done is you don't have that initial spike like into the
Right.
stratosphere, you know.
Coming, yes, exactly. Coming right in and then, 2 days later going down like what the Trump coin did.
Yeah, like in this one, it's actually going down from its first.
Yeah.
It drops immediately out the door,
Yeah.
50%.
And it's funny because this little blip here, which, at the time everybody freaked out because of how much that was, it did only come through. No, you know what? This chart is from Binance. They didn't list it right away, so we don't have all the data. Let's see here. I wonder if maybe this one might. No. I just remember that this first day, I don't remember what it was, but the first day was $80 billion with a B,
Yeah,
and then it went and tanked back the other direction,
yeah,
lost 90% within weeks. And yeah, you're absolutely right. But this was a meme coin.
yeah,
BitTensor, we're talking infrastructure for big tech with BitTensor. So it's not going to be experiencing during such times. It'll experience volatility simply because it's the nature of coins. These these stocks are like penny stocks, and they're having fun leveraging them and stuff. So this here is like manipulation because the rest of alts they didn't have this kind of action over this past 2 years.
yeah,
We go to fetch, it was straight, basically the little mini alt season that we had in 2024, but that was it, right? Then it just recovered. Whereas in the same time frame, BitTensor is back and forth and back and forth. So this one though, it's been around a little bit while. It was here before the last alt season, and it didn't really do much because it wasn't a technology yet. 2021, ChatGPT wasn't even available for use, right? So it didn't experience the last alt season like most alts had. They got started late into that cycle. So the charts, the chart action, yeah, that's the it's something, there's a technical aspect to it, but you got to take other factors into consideration, like Tau, is a different beast, totally different purpose, different, even a different mission than most of crypto. Desync, one of the assets, bouncing off of some nice big lows. I would say that if you had a consideration to buy some and you were maybe waiting for a lower price, you might not want to do that anymore because this pulse here was very encouraging from a technical perspective, very encouraging to the asset. And coming back down and not immediately finding the same lows, it shows strength by not going that low. And in fact, we zoom in a little bit on that 4-hour chart, we can see we actually had two attempts. Attempt 1, attempt 2, and then a higher low with a new high. That indicates a reversal, simply because we created this low here, but we didn't even get close to this one here, this low from before the pulse. That high is very encouraging. It's getting up above 1, 2, 3, 4 pivot points out of all at once. 4 pivot points defied and even went past this pivot point. That's 5 pivot points that just surged past, no problem. Coming back down, it did not go down far enough to show that the bears have power. These are all the diamond hands hanging on for dear life. That's what they're doing.
What do you mean diamond hands?
They're not like that's a it's like there's hodling
Oh
and
yeah.
then there's diamond hands.
Oh okay.
It's like no, it's beyond hodling. Hodling, you'll do a hodl. Uh, eventually you'll hodl, but once you're down to 99%, it's probably time to let go. Whereas diamond hands, it doesn't matter. They're sticking it through. Sometimes it's involuntary, and I'll give you a clear example. One time, um, this was one of the first meme coins that I got in was called Frog or Frog, something like that. Grog maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, bought it and it rode a nice little wave for about 2 weeks. Should have sold it because I doubled, but I didn't follow my trade plan because I was still just playing around. $200 went up 400, and then it went down to $13. And I was forced involuntarily diamond hands. Why? Because it was on the Ethereum network. And to transfer that $13 out, it would have cost me $26. So, I mean, I guess I could have sold it, but I was too cheap. World sitting at 37 cents right now. This one here, I think, is going to be taking off along with gaming. Once gaming assets go online, this one here is going to take off. The Neural AI wanting to no, do not confuse it with Neuralink. It's not wanting to interface man with machine. Simply recognizing that, as we start managing our own LLMs, we will be creating a network within our computers. And they're referencing that neural net that you have. How is it secured? How is it private? Beam at all-time lows. Another gaming ecosystem one. Superverse also. Nope, not at all-time lows. Certainly low, 10 cents. Down from the all-time high. I think it was like $5 or something like that. All-time high, 483. Is that right? 475 was the actual high. So it's down quite a bit from there. Where's my ruler? There we go. Down 97%. Dollar cost average. Because what does that mean for recovery? Well, 4,100%. It's a 42x to recover. So you can bet your boots when AI is generated directly on your device, is generating the environment for the game without having to have a programmer program the environment for the game. I have the anticipation that we will see 25x from all-time highs in the gaming industry. So this Superverse as an example, 25x from $4. 25x from $4 is right there, about $118. That's 25x from the high. What did I say? Most of the money is made in recovery? Yeah, that's 42x to the recovery. Oh, you want to go 25 more than that? $118. That's
crazy.
112,000%. And whether we like it or not, gaming, I think, is actually going to be a micro industry on the playing field of industries like robotics. We've got nanotechnology, synthetic biology.
You say gaming will be the what?
It'll be almost like a micro industry in of itself, competing with robotics, AI. We're gonna see,
You think it's
you know,
competing or reflecting those?
good question. Reflecting for sure in the art form. It will be. It'll be yeah, it'll be almost like a marriage of some of them, like quantum computing, which right now is still very much not. Don't worry about it. It's going to be a while before that's something that is in our homes. But that we've got. Where was I going with this? It's like a combination of technologies. We're seeing AI, nanotechnology, which I think is going to give birth to like virtual reality in a room, much like a holodeck.
Yep.
It'll be like you are in some sort of a medium. You are in a medium that can light up. It's a
Do you think that
three-dimensional screen.
Do you think that they'll start with, or they'll eventually get to um, contractors building into homes a room that is a game room, but it becomes literally the walls become the environment, and so you end up with a real 3D, not just a headset that has, but you got, well, not real 3D. It's all kind of uh, made up anyhow. So, but you have a much more realistic environment by virtue of the fact of your room that you're in. It's like
Yep.
having a. It's like having what do they call those things that pilots learn in?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
having that, but on
Flight
steroids.
simulator. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think that we're going to see a combination of where the walls themselves are projectors, but then there is a medium that is projected that it is going to get illuminated. Much
right.
like you see like when Iron Man is like or Tony Stark on the Marvel series, he's manipulating with his hand gestures, he's manipulating three-dimensional objects in space.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that the walls will be a complement to that dynamic environment. That wherever you are, you will see a reality that is completely fictitious. And it's a combination. It's going to be a combination of artificial intelligence and it's going to be a combination of nanotechnology. I also think that we're going to see crystal be an integral part because we're already using crystals in having our displays, liquid crystal displays, but that once we start passing data through crystal using light, it's going to be insane. We're not going to have a benchmark. It's like just think of the weapons of war and how they have advanced. The way that we interact with media will never look the same again. It's going to create the need for completely different kind of device. I don't think we're going to have cell phones carrying them around. I really don't. I think it'll be like a little tag or something like. Some people are going to get it installed in their bodies, and that's going to be the interface. And wherever you go, you'll just be able to connect to the internet because it's all AI driven, right? So you're just going to interface, with your little near field near field communication device, right? I've got these things here that can function. These can function as an interface between any physical object and the internet. It's called the Internet of Things. I was diving into this back in 2017. I was creating solutions for coffee shops
Yeah.
downtown. Go to coffee shops and say, hey, just take one of these things and stick it on your window. What is it? Well, what it'll do is it'll actually ping an Android phone. Can't do it to Apple because they actually care about your privacy. But on Android, we could ping an Android to have a notification if people walk by this within 20 feet. We could control the emission. How far did that field go out? This was at the core of that little device. So we're going to see that where we're just everything is another access point into the data stream.
Speaking of
So
the data,
you don't need a phone.
well, it's sort of like that. The latest version of the original Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. Yeah, what was that movie?
Yeah, the Terminator.
Yeah, well, the second, not the Terminator. The one where he divorces his wife with a shotgun to the head, kind of thing.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, what is that? Okay, there's a second one. Anyhow, they have these phones in the palm of their hands. Just put it to their heads like this, and they can talk.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you know
Yeah.
that was, and then of course the guy gets rid of it by cutting open his hand and pulling out
Yeah.
the fiber optics or whatever it is that's in there. But yeah,
Wow.
that's what I thought about when you mentioned that.
Yeah.
But speaking of data stream, this thing that Elon Musk or that seemed to come out in the news this past weekend about Musk and his all the data stuff being up in space, not down here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been quite the journey getting to that point.
He thinks within 36 months, or was it 36 months?
I think he said 30 months at the top.
30 months, yeah.
Outset. Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense. I mean, you take a look at the spacing. The spacing of the language patterns of the various initiatives that Trump has been a part of. Before COVID, it was the Space Force. We need to have a Space Force. Black budgets were already investing in the Space Force. That's what Catherine Austin Fitts uncovered with her work. She uncovered where that money. You remember all that money that was, defrauded of the people when the mortgage crisis occurred? She tracked where that money went. It went into black budgets for space. So, of course, Trump gets along there, and by 2016, he's going to start talking about how we need to increase our Space Force. Sure enough, I think it was by 2018 he used that language. That was the Space Force that we need to build up.
Yep.
He said it for like 6 months. Then we go ahead and have COVID. Now it's Operation Warp Speed.
Follow the money.
Now it's Stargate. Why? Because in order for you to access the cloud, you're going to have to go through the gate, the Stargate, because all of the data centers are going to be up in space. Absolutely. Cooling. Oh, cooling alone. That's why another big reason why I think all these data centers are deliberately being used to give people the impression that the infrastructure needs to be on Earth to make this work, right? But no. We were always, just like we did last time, build the tower, the infrastructure in the cloud. To the clouds, we had to reach God. And so I think that we're experiencing another form of Tower of Babel because we're unifying the language. Now you can just, in my coding software, I can click 2 buttons and have GLM translate anything. In my coding software, I can translate anything. So we're unifying the language with this great big tower that's up in the clouds. The structure.
That's hilarious.
All of this has happened before. All of it will happen again. And
Huh.
and instead of calling it Babel, we can just call it brain rot. The Tower of Brain Rot. Babel.
Yep.
uh, let's check out the meme coins here. NPC. Lots of talk about NPC lately because it's at these lows. So that talk at these lows, the increased, like people are like, I'm buying a whole bunch more. What does that do? People see it on X and they're like, what's that? What are you buying? I thought the cryptos were down in the dumps right now because the mainstream says things are bad. Ha! Remember, people look at this. People look at this marker here and they say, oh, it's in fear. And they think, I don't want to buy because people are fearful right now. That is literally the opposite of what we're supposed to think. But the mainstream, the people have that program where that's what they think. And so they see the extreme fear. When they see the cognitive dissonance of people buying meme coins saying that it's only up from here, they're like, what the heck?
Now, is that your current? The Fear and Greed is 11.
That is well, Coin Market Cap. That's their.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm on. I've got my Coin Market Cap open right now. Mine says
Yeah.
14, not 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then on the altcoin season, mine says 29. Yours says 36.
Wow. That's so weird. I'm not even logged in. How can there be a discrepancy between the two of us? That is a very interesting. That's an interesting contemplation. I wonder if that's related to, in a sense, related to how they can manipulate. How they can change the angle of news depending on where the newspaper arrives.
Okay,
Depending-
your altcoin season changed now down to 29, where mine is. But
Okay.
yours showed 36 on the other screen.
Oh. Oh, maybe because I hadn't reloaded it.
Yeah, there, you're back up to 14. Okay,
That's what happened. I didn't
Ah.
reload the page. I just went and grabbed it.
bingo. There you go.
Got it. Okay, never mind. False alarm. It's not that much of a conspiracy theory. Oh, yeah. But yeah, like this, that's what happens. People look at the fear and then they see the cognitive dissonance on X and they're like, what's that all about? And then what happens is that garners attention. Now let's go see what happens with NPC nowadays. Look at that. Volume is up. The volume is up in the last 24 hours by 76%.
Wow. Why is that? Why NPC?
Well,
Was there something that came out about it?
no, it's just a bunch of fanatics going around tweeting about it against. Look at all the red. All of the red. Nobody goes into the red. Nobody, like very few people. The dollar cost averagers do. People that have lots of money. The smart money does it. But when the red is like this, it literally, that's the funniest thing. People wonder why like I haven't had this asked me for a while, but when I was first trading, I bucked against the system and I went to this white chart, like a white chart. I went to that because I studied the colors that were chosen, the default colors for TradingView. They were, there was a complete expose on it in a trading journal that I've subscribed to. They picked those colors specifically because color can actually affect your emotions. In fact, there are prisons that will paint their walls pink because it has a psychological effect on the inmates.
Yeah.
And so they picked the green and the red that they picked were associated with fear and greed.
Huh.
So I was like, I'm not going to expand on it. I'm not going to amplify this fear and greed. I want to look at it with the least amount of color as possible. And I'm still stuck with all the red whenever it goes into the negative. Still have to look at it.
Yep.
Right? And so that is what drives everything is just emotion. All we're seeing is just the reflection of people's emotion. But on NPC, when a cult of people have as much fanaticism as they do about something, NPC and SPX both are in this boat. They get attention when they're at their lowest in ways that a lot of other coins do not. Let's go back to this, and I'm going to bring up, Doge is a meme coin. Ah, yeah, sure enough, its volume up 85% in the last 24 hours.
So everybody seems to be selling. Is that its volume is up, but its volume is up in the selling side of things?
Yep. But with Doge, and that's the other thing too, is that you have to take into consideration where are these being placed, right? The volume is up, so there's more activity. And it makes sense also that the volume would be up, more activity. We're at a pivot point. Pivot points always have a little bit more volume during those times. But they call them aeons. The people that are joining these communities out of curiosity, they are not leaving those communities. They're enraptured by them. And so I think we're at lows. We just bounced off of an all-time low with SPX, but look at how this price pattern, we created that high above that shoulder that went down. So that shoulder there is market structure. It went down and it came back up and even found for a while some support. Well, now we're creating another low, and it'll be about whether or not we challenge that trend line. If the trend line gets challenged, then yeah, we'll probably going down for a while longer. But this here is a very critical point. Again, from a technical analysis perspective. Charts can be deceiving.
Yep.
But they do only measure the emotional charge that people experience when they see what's happening.
KCS, KuCoin, is up 154% in volume in the last 24 hours.
That means that means that exchanges are getting, or let's see if the other exchanges are to confirm, but KuCoin is an exchange, right?
Yeah.
So let's look up
BNB.
BNB, yeah. What's its volume?
82%.
Yep. So there's activity, lots of activity. Yep. Okay, well, there's market analysis for today. I'm honestly more interested in what's going to happen with silver. Oh, look at that. We are pushing up above there. That previous high. We got to get above this. Very possible even from here. You can see that this drive towards the end of the week definitely went up above that previous high, already maybe finding support. So this to me is more interesting right now. Cryptos, you might actually be a few more months before we see any kind of action out of that. I think that the attention is going to be brought into the metals for the next little while because they need the metals to build all the data centers that are going to be obsolete because Skynet, I mean, you were mentioning the Terminator earlier. That was the system that was coming online, Skynet.
Yep.
Yeah, well, when Skynet gets activated, or when the tower gets turned on, then all of it, it's just, I don't think it's going to mean much. And then gold and silver will be put off to the side, and then we'll see the digital assets just be the thing. And I think that we're going to see that kind of coincide with when that space-based data center infrastructure comes online.
Yeah, the movie I was thinking of was Total Recall, the 2012 version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
2012.
That one.
Yeah. That one's with Colin Farrell playing the role that Schwarzenegger played in the first version.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to bring it up here because sometimes those are the funnest things to watch. And was it the 1990 version that you were saying it was depicting
The 2012 version.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yep.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember who the guy was, the actor was in the 2012, or the name of the. All I remember is that Schwarzenegger played in the first version of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Colin Farrell, he's pretty good. I don't mind him in those kinds of roles. Right on. Well, everybody have a good rest of the day.
There we have it.
Market
You too.
analysis.